Let's start with the only true Japanese god of the group, Ebisu. Ebisu is the fisherman's friend, the god of prosperity in fishing, farming, and trade. He's also the only god in the group who's native to Japan. Everyone else imports. But his story doesn't start lucky. Originally named Haruko, he was born wrong. Some say without bones, others without limbs. His divine parents abandoned him at sea, floating in a tiny reed boat. Here's the twist. Ebisu laughed as he drifted. That laugh charmed the sea spirits, who carried him safely to shore. A fisherman adopted him, gave him the name Ebisu, and he grew whole again. Limbs, bones, everything. His first miracle. From there, he taught better fishing practices and became the smiling fisherman you see today, always holding a fat sea bream. Need luck in fishing, farming, or trade? Ebisu's your guy. But what if your problem isn't fish, but greed? That's where the next god comes in. Dakokuten didn't start in Japan. He's a makeover of the fierce Hindu deity Mahakala. Originally a wrathful protector, he transformed into Japan's smiling god of wealth and farming. Mice often surround him. Cute, right? Not always. In one story, a greedy merchant hoarded rice during a famine. Dakokuten sent mice to devour it all. Panicked, the merchant finally opened his stores to feed the hungry, and instantly the mice vanished. His fortune soared, but only after he learned generosity. Sometimes Dakokuten tests people in disguise, appearing as a beggar at your door. Treat him kindly, and you prosper. Mistreat him. Well, let's just say you won't be laughing. So, if you want luck in business or farming, Dakokuten's the one you better stay on the good side of. If, however, you need guarding or strengthening, see our next god. Bishamonten is the god of warriors, protection, and authority. But he also didn't start in Japan. Originally, he was the Hindu god Kubera, later known in Buddhism as Vaisravana, and came over through China. Once in Japan, he changed, becoming less a god of wealth and more a warrior guardian. That's why you'll usually see him in armor, holding a spear in one hand and a tiny pagoda in the other. The armor shows his strength. The pagoda shows what he protects, the treasures of the sacred. One story shows his true nature. A samurai once prayed to Bishamonten for victory in battle, but instead of giving him strength, Bishamonten sent visions of the suffering caused by war, the burning villages, the grieving families. The samurai was shaken. He stripped off his armor, renounced his sword, and became a monk, now devoting his life to easing suffering instead of causing it. That's Bishamonten in a nutshell. Not just a patron of warriors, but a god who defends what's truly sacred, justice and compassion. If you need protection or something precious guarded, he's the one to ask. But if you're looking for help crushing your enemies, you might want to look elsewhere. And speaking of a different kind of power, the next god, or rather goddess, rules over something that flows through every part of life. Benzaiten, or Benton, is the only woman among the 7 lucky gods, and she's unforgettable. Based on the Hindu goddess Saraswati, she came to Japan through China, bringing with her domains that cover, well, almost everything that flows: water, words, music, art, knowledge, even time itself. That's why her shrines are often near water, rivers, lakes, or the sea. She's the goddess of inspiration, and her stories prove it. The most famous is the legend of Benzaiten and the 5-headed dragon. A monstrous dragon named Gozuryu terrorized the people of the region of Enoshima, demanding sacrifices. Just as despair set in, Benzaiten descended from the heavens, and to keep her feet dry, the island of Enoshima is said to have risen from the sea beneath her. The dragon, ready to devour, saw her and instantly fell in love. He begged for her hand, but instead of agreeing, Benzaiten gave him a stern lecture on his cruelty. And here's the miracle. Instead of raging at being rejected, the dragon was so moved by her presence that he reformed completely, becoming the region's protector instead. and some tellings he still lives beneath Enoshima, guarding it to this day. For artists, writers, and musicians and scholars, Benzaiten is the ultimate patron. Offer her a poem, a song, or even just your words, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your inspiration flowing again. If you're looking for a better attitude or a long life, however, that's the domain of the next god on our list. Folklore is the god of longevity. He also came from China, but did not originate from India. He was derived from either a Taoist sage or a Taoist god, possibly Zhang Yu or Fulushu, a triple-star deity who was three gods always considered together, which gives you an idea of how long that particular notion has been around. Folklore has his own unique quality in that he is the only one among the 7 lucky gods who has the power to revive the dead. He is often seen in the company of a crane, a turtle, and now and then a black deer, all symbols of extreme longevity. According to this legend, the deer will only turn black if it has lived for 2,000 years, so it certainly fits. If, however, you're really after both wealth and a long life, look no further than the next god. Zhurozhen is associated with wealth and longevity, also originally from China. He too has an association with the triple-star god Fulu Shu, but only with Shu, who was the deity in the 3 specifically linked to longevity. Like Folklore, he is also associated with animal symbols of longevity, like the deer, crane, and tortoise. He is usually pictured as an elderly man with a long white beard and a large forehead. He carries a staff and a scroll believed to list the lifespans of all living things, and will sometimes offer extended lives to the virtuous. He often appears as a wandering sage who appears to those in need. One account says that an old man visited a sick child's family, gave cryptic advice on how to help the child, and left. It was only after he was gone that the parents did what he said and healed the child, and they realized the old man was Zhurozhen in disguise. Wealth, health, and a long life are great things. Do they always bring happiness? Are you still having trouble finding the joy in your life? Then our next divine is the one you really need to know about. Hote is the god of happiness, contentment, and general good luck. He's based on the semi-legendary Chinese Zen monk Budai, often referred to as the Laughing Buddha. He's especially known as a protector of children. If you've ever seen an image of a small, rotund, smiling Buddha figure, odds are you were looking at Hote. Hote gets his name from the sack he carries, Hote literally meaning a cloth bag. It is filled with gifts which he gives joyfully wherever he goes. Toys to children, food for the hungry, coins to the poor. Whatever is needed or appropriate, the sack never runs out. It symbolizes endless generosity and the idea that joy shared is joy multiplied. Sure, it's great to know what god is in charge of what advantage, but what if you could benefit from all 7 lucky gods at once? Believe it or not, there is a way. In the first 3 days of the new year, the 7 lucky gods get together and climb aboard their takarabune, or treasure ship. They sail from the heavens to human harbors, bringing gifts of wealth, wisdom, longevity, joy, eloquence, courage, and success for the new year. In the Edo period, it was customary to put a woodblock print of the takarabune under your pillow. The hope was to receive a dream of good luck in the new year. If you got a bad dream instead, you could always dispose of the print in the nearest river to wash away the bad luck. And if you happen to be near a harbor around the new year, keep an eye out for that treasure ship, just in case.